You're live.
We're good? All right, I would like to call, it's 9:01. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and if you would join me, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do need to determine the quorum, but I would entertain a motion to allow remote participation for Commissioner Shaljo Hernandez.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, this is on the motion to allow Commissioner Shaljo Hernandez to participate remotely. Ex officio Ward.
Yes.
Board Member Peck.
Yes.
Board Member? Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Board Member Harris.
Yes.
I say yes.
And Commissioner Sanchez, I say yes.
I just realized I am chairing this meeting because Vice Chair Shaljo Hernandez is at a distance, and someone has to be in the room to make eye contact with you all. So I apologize for being a little bit behind the ball and following up on this. Okay, then I would also say that we have a quorum, 5 members present in person, 1 online, which I don't think counts to a quorum, but we have enough in person to count that. So I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
Move approval. Sanchez.
Second. Harris.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none? Board Member Ward?
Yes.
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 The agenda is approved. I would entertain a motion to approve 2 sets of minutes from the October 23rd and the November 26th, please.
Move approval of both minutes from October 23rd, 2025 and November 26th, 2025.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none? Board Member Ward?
Yes.
Board Member Peck?
Yes.
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 Awesome. Thank you. We've got this. Okay, on to reports and presentations. First, we have our representative from SNAP, Spay and Neuter Action Programs. Please come on up, and it should be ready to go. Please remember to state your name for the record, and welcome. Good morning. I think you can push F5 and it should
F5.
maybe.
There you go. Sorry, I've taught this stuff for years and years, but I've been out of that market for a while, and I forget all those little shortcuts. Good morning, and thank you for having me here today to talk about the Spay and Neuter Action Program, SNAP. My name is LaVon Hart, and I'm the director of SNAP. As I'm sure many of you are aware, SNAP has been serving Donna Ana County since 1998, and we have facilitated over 30,000 spay and neuter surgeries for companion dogs and cats of low-income residents for over these past 26 plus years. We also provide rabies vaccinations and microchipping if needed. When people call SNAP, they are pre-qualified for vouchers and provided an application. When SNAP receives the completed application along with proof of income and residency, a voucher is issued for the surgery at one of our participating vets. The client schedules an appointment and the bill is sent to SNAP. For the last year, we've been able to provide vouchers without co-pays for clients as we have had funding from Donna Ana County and the city of Las Cruces. We do work with many of the vets in the area, including ASCMV, and we are always looking for more vets to work with our clients. The vets work with the clients and they do give us a reduced rate on their services. In August of 2024, the SNAP board held a retreat and reviewed our vision and mission as well as developed a value statement. These 3 statements guide all of our decisions and how we conduct business. As noted on the previous slide, our services have focused on serving companion animals. However, we realize that there is a tremendous need to reduce the number of community animals, as overpopulation of dogs and cats is not limited to companion animals. Also, the problem of overpopulation is not limited to Donna Ana County. It's statewide, nationwide, worldwide. We also believe that it's important to educate the public on the need for spay-neuter and to advocate for programs that enhance the health and safety of both companion and community animals. Our mission is focused on improving the lives of dogs and cats in Donna Ana County. In addition to facilitating spay and neuter surgeries, we believe that providing vaccinations and microchips are important to the lives of our dogs and cats. Our primary mission continues to be working with low-income residents to have their companion dogs and cats spayed and neutered. The SNAP board also developed a values statement that reflects how we want to work with other groups and with our clients. No one group can solve the problem of overpopulation of dogs and cats. Collaboration is the key to making a difference. The SNAP office is welcoming. Anytime any of you want to come by and see us, please feel free to do so. We welcome everyone who calls in, comes in, emails us, and we do return phone calls, emails. And when people come in, we greet them with a warm smile. We believe in excellent customer service and being open and honest in all of our communications. We strongly believe that the funds that we have need to be spent in ways that move our mission forward. We strive to keep all of our expenses at a minimum. Over the last several years, SNAP has seen a significant increase in the growth, a significant growth in the number of people accessing our service. The blue line that you see on the chart is the number of completed surgeries, and you'll see that we've been experiencing an increase over the last 4 years. The orange line is the number of rabies vaccinations that we have facilitated, and the green line is the number of microchips. You may notice that both the number of rabies and the number of microchips provided has risen significantly. We attribute this in great deal to the fact that we now have several of our vets who will take care of the rabies and the microchipping at the time of surgery. SNAP provides the microchips to the vets, so there's no cost for our clients for those services. And last year, we started that in mid-year, and our numbers just flew. ASCMV is one of our partner vets. Over the last several years, ASCMV has completed approximately 6.5% to 7.5% of the total number of surgeries that we facilitated. We hope in the future that ASCMV will be able to work with more of our clients. We understand that there's been limited surgery slots available over the last several years, But we would really love to work more with the vets at ASCMV and getting our animals and our clients into them. SNAP has been working with Donna Ana County for over the last 10 years, and during that time we've facilitated over 5,200 spays and neuters for residents of unincorporated areas in Donna Ana County. In 2020, the late part of 2024, and really starting in January of 2025, City of Las Cruces joined with us to be able to offer the same services to low-income residents of the city. And we have seen an amazing increase in the number of city residents requesting our services. It's up about 40%, which has just been incredible. A little scary at times. Unfortunately, the funding from these contracts is limited and only covers about 40 to 50% of the animals that we issue vouchers for in those areas. And in fact, this year, we've already expended all of the 25-26 funding from the City of Las Cruces, in just the first 5 months of the fiscal year. And the county funding will be fully expended by the end of January. Once that funding is gone, we rely on our grants and donations. We're always looking for fundraising opportunities and new grants, but those are not always available and take a lot of work to get sometimes. But if anybody has any ideas, we're open. Call us, talk to us. We love y'all. What it means to SNAP and to SNAP's clients that our funding from the city and county will be fully expended soon is that we may have to reinstitute co-pays. This is not something that we want to do. This limits the number of people that can access our service, but we have to pay the bills just like everybody else. So in terms of where our funding comes from, we have 3 primary sources. Of course, our contracts, and then our donations and grants. Our total income for last year was approximately $450,000. Of that, $400,000 was spent on vet bills. This year, we're anticipating that our vet bills will be at least $420,000, and probably more like $430,000. So you can see that our need for grants, donations, and contracts is critical. At our last board meeting, the SNAP board sat down and looked at what were our goals going to be for 2026. And we decided that we would be looking at issuing approximately 3,000 vouchers. In 2025, we issued 2,800. We want to be able to complete at least 2,500 surgeries. We've also received a grant to start work on a TNR program, very small. We consider it a pilot program for us, but we are looking at working with the community to spay and neuter approximately 150 cats throughout the county. I'm hoping we can do some more. We're going to look for funding, but that's our goal for right now. And we also, in that grant, which by the way, was from the New Mexico Spay and Neuter program, we'll also be looking at increasing our work with clients and vets in the South County area, which has been a typically underserved area. We also are looking to increase donations and grants by 15%, and we need 1 or 2 more board members. So again, Anybody looking for a few hours of their month to be used, call SNAP. We'd love to have you. And we know to reach these goals, we will need to develop more collaborations with other groups in the county and potentially in the state. We are actively advocating for the renewal of SB 57, which, by the way, now has a new bill number. It's SB 38. Just got the news this morning, which provides funding for spay and neuter statewide. In closing, I want to thank you again for inviting me to come and give this information, and we look forward to working with ASCMV as we move through this year and into the future. We share many of the same goals: reducing overpopulation of dogs and cats and other critters, improving the health and safety of animals throughout the county, and serving the residents of Joanna County. We are open to ideas on how we can work to achieve these goals. And again, I would encourage anyone with ideas, time to volunteer, come and see us, come and talk to us. I think you'll like us. We're actually a pretty nice group. Thank you.
Can confirm that you're both nice and very effective. Thank you so much for presenting. Are there any questions from anyone on the board? Please, Board Member Gates and then Board Member Ward, please.
I just had a question. What percentage, like what's your breakdown? Oh, sorry. What's your breakdown of like cats versus dogs in your totals?
Actually, it's pretty evenly spent.
Okay.
I think it's 49 point blah, blah, blah
Okay.
percent cats and 50 blah, blah, blah percent dogs. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, fairly.
It's in the newsletter.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Okay.
and I do have some extra copies if anybody wants newsletters.
And then I was just curious, is that, so I noticed, you had, first of all, I appreciate that you guys have like your goals set. That's amazing. I love seeing organizations' goals and them also achieve them is amazing. As far as like that TNR number that you had, the 150, is that included in your goal of the 2,500 surgeries for?
Actually not.
Okay, so you're actually going to exceed.
Yeah, because those were set by, without looking, those goals, the TNR was separate because we have separate funding for it.
Okay, and I presume that funding will work a bit differently with regard to like, how people qualify? Are you gonna?
TNR does not require, the state program, TNR does not require income verification because those cats don't have people. They're community cats. So we're following the guidelines from the sheltering committee. So we are, what's happening every week, we get 3, 4, 5 more calls in from the public saying, my neighbor has 20 cats in their yard and they need help, or I'm feeding, blah, blah, blah. And so we've started by getting those names and numbers. And we're working with those people first, and we'll have our 150 done out of that group like that, to facilitate this program, to get it on its feet. I'm really hopeful that we can do more. I'm really hopeful that we can get additional funding to do more because the need is so critical. I also volunteer at a rescue group, and people in the spring will be flocking in with the kittens that they miraculously found in their garage and their backyard and underneath the nursing mother. And so this is just a service that we've got to do more for. So
Is the idea though that you also will, essentially be providing like trapping services, or are you kind of trying to push, I don't want to say push that off on, but like maybe train people to be able to have sort of that like independence in doing that, or are you adding more to your plate and also trying to provide kind of the trapping services as well?
So we do have traps available for people who are who know how to trap. And we do work with a few people that will go out and help people trap. So kind of an approach that we try to meet everybody's needs. And we can certainly lose more people to volunteer with that. If you've had training in trapping, please contact us, because a lot of people, I've worked in rescue for 25 years, but I have never trapped a cat. So, except in my house, but that's a different issue. So that's partially why we started out with a small program, was we wanted to see what was going to work for us and for the people that work with us.
Great, awesome, thank you so much. Appreciate the information.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else?
Thank you. Board Member Ward?
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. I just have a couple of questions. On the 400,000 in regards to the vet bills that you mentioned, is that just surgery-wise, or is that other expenses?
That's pretty much just surgery.
Just surgery-wise for the spay and neuters?
Mhm.
Okay. And then in regards to the contracts, so the City of Las Cruces and Doñana County, I know how much Doñana County actually gives you each year.
Yeah,
What is the amount that the city gives?
80.
80,000? Okay. Just curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
No problem. And we'd love to talk to you more.
Thank you.
Anything else? I'm happy to answer questions about us.
No,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Please.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a quick question. I know when you were looking at the data, you had commented about the increase in microchipping and being able to do it as part of the spay and neuter, and the vets are doing that now. But I noticed when you look at the data from 2022 to 2023 on the spay and neuter, there's a huge jump.
Yeah.
And was wondering what drove that increase in particular. I didn't know if there was something, outreach or funding or something that may have helped drive that increase, because it's obviously I would love. I think when we're talking about like what you do, if there is a way to facilitate making another big leap, that would be amazing.
I actually think that a lot of that was coming out of COVID. Basically, vets just pretty much were shut down during 20 and 21. So when we got to 22 and on, people were coming in just like crazy because they'd gotten all these animals while that was happening, and they hadn't been able to get them spayed or neutered yet. So that would be my guess. I came on board with SNAP in the spring of 23. So we weren't doing anything different in the office. Our processes were all the same. Our outreach was all the same. But I think word of mouth that we were open, that we were doing these things, that we were moving forward, and that's what we've been seeing all along, is a lot of our people come in because of word of mouth. So I think that's what it is. I think to make another big jump, we've got to have some more vets in this area.
Yep. No,
That is a huge problem for us, because we can get a voucher taken care of and ready to go in 3 weeks is kind of our longest. But they're going to have potentially another 6-week wait to get into a vet, because our vets are very, 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 very busy. So to go another step and be able to push and have more go through the system, we need more vets. So I am actively looking for some vet in the South County area to work with us, because that's one of the areas where we've got a vet in Anthony that works with us, but we need somebody more.
Could you, and I don't know if there's specific restrictions on the funding that you could potentially reach out just over the state line. I think like when you're looking, especially in the southern part of the county, Southern Park, Santa Teresa, La Union,
Yeah.
that whole area is right next to Canutillo, El Paso, and so, I don't know if there's a potential to tap into those resources.
I'm not adverse at all. In fact, the list I have has some El Paso vets as well as some that are still in Dona Ana County. Vets are busy, and we're asking them not only to take on our animals, but also to give us a discount, because frankly, vet bills, just to give you an idea, last year, our vet bills were $32,000 over, at least $32,000 a month.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's going to be scary this year. But then I said that last year, and we made it, you know. So we're definitely looking for more vets, because I think that's how we get more clients into our system and through our system. So if anybody knows any vets and thinks they'd be willing to work with us, again, we're open.
Awesome. No, thank you. And while I absolutely would love a priority of being for any vets or businesses in Doña Ana County, you know, we live in here in you know, in these communities that are all connected regardless of state lines. So, you know, if there's a way for us to help each other, that'd be amazing. So thank you so much for answering the questions, and thank you so much for what you do and having the conversation with us today. Thank you.
Anytime. And I'm truly mean, come by the office. Mary Lou's been there. She'll tell you, we're a nice group of people and passionate about what we do. You've probably picked that up. We're very passionate about taking care of these animals.
So thank you very much. I also just wanted to add, the city of Las Cruces included the spay and neuter funding as one of our priorities, and we'll be working with Animal Protection Voters has a day of action on February 10th. If anyone wants to participate, you can register online, and they're going to be having a whole bunch of events. They'll help you go and talk to folks to make sure that this gets passed. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it actually gets passed before that day. Ideally, it will we'll already know by then, but they have other priorities as well. So Animal Protection Voters, if you want to check out their website, people who are in the audience who are interested in making sure that happens, February 10th in Santa Fe to help support that, and the city I'll be there, and that's been on our priority list as well. So I'll see you. We'll see you in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all that you do, and
thank you for your time.
presenting
I
today.
appreciate it greatly, and we appreciate the support of both the city and the county that has just been incredible for our program to have that. I can't really tell you how much that means to us every year and to all of our clients. Just on a kind of side personal note, we get clients in, and when they find out there's not going to be a cost, they are in tears. They are so happy that they can get their animals taken care of. And the money from the city and the county have really made a difference in us being able to do that. And it was a very difficult decision by the board to even consider reinstating copays, because we know that impacts. But we have to do what we have to do.
Board Member Gates, did you have one more?
Yeah, I just had one more question. Kind of just curious about like operational. So first of all, do vouchers expire? And if
Yes,
so,
they
how
do.
long? Okay. What is the time frame?
About 3 months.
Okay.
And they can call in, like, let's say something happens, people get sick, people, whatever. They can call the office, and we will extend.
Okay, and then I may have asked this at some point, but I have a terrible memory. So what happens, like, essentially when a voucher has not been used? Do you have any, like, kind of follow-up? Do you guys kind of track, like, what barriers? Like, people are like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't use it because I can't, drive to the vet, or, whatever their reasoning might be to not use the voucher. Because, like, that seems like a pretty big deal for somebody to go through that whole process and then be like, oh, well, I just won't use it. So curious about that.
So we do try. We want to get this to be something that's regular, but right now it's kind of spotty. It has to do with what our workload is. But we do try. I generate a list that is all the vouchers that are going to expire within the next month or so. And our office staff, our 2 volunteers, call those people to find out, have they made an appointment? Do they need it extended? Is there something happening? And then if we find out by chance, sometimes the dog ran away, whatever, we take them off the list. A lot of times they have appointments coming up, so that's great. So we do try to follow up, and we do talk when people call in and say, I need to get my voucher extended. We do ask, well, what happened, to find out if it was a transportation problem or whatever we can do to help. And then I didn't mention it, but we do have a program with Schumacher's Veterinary to work with the unhomed to get their animals spayed and neutered and vaccinated and microchipped. And so if we get a call from anybody that's unhomed, we see if we can work through that program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate that y'all make the extra effort. That's exactly what I was hoping for, so awesome.
We try.
Awesome.
Would anybody like a card?
Again, thank you so much for presenting and doing everything that you do within the community. We're extremely lucky to have you all as part of our community of trying to make a change. Okay, next up, city and county ACO reports, please. Oh, Brian, you're up first. Okay. I tried to say city county to, mix it up, but okay.
Oh, that goes. Hello, my name is Brian Halsey. I'm the caseworker for Doñana County Animal Control, here to present the October through December report. For reported stray animals, we had 667 reported stray animals. Out of those, we were able to pick up 389 stray animals. 110 were cats and 279 were stray dogs. We ended up picking up 52 sick or injured animals, 26 of cats and 26 dogs. And luckily, we had a lower number for our owner surrenders. We had 39. This is our reported stray animal four-year comparison. Our four-year field return to owner comparison, that's our animals that don't go to the shelter that we're able to return to the owners in the field. We ended up having 278 as our total for the year. We had 18 in December, 19 in November, and 19 in October. And our additional animals picked up, and I do apologize, we found an error after I submitted it. Our owner surrender dogs was 37, not 39. And then we had 2 owner surrender cats. We had 52 sick or injured animals. We had 12 welfare hold animals, no neglect, abuse, or cruelty. We had 14 shelter quarantines, 10 home quarantines. For court hold quarantine and cases, we had 2. Live evidence, we currently have 7. One of those are in foster at this time, so we have 6 at our facility. We had 1 rabies submission, 44 diverted intakes, 948 education, and our total calls for the 3 months was 1,611. These are the animals picked up by district. So District 1, we had 7 cats and 28 dogs for a total of 35. For District 2, we had 47 cats, 24 dogs for a total of 71. We had a couple people in that area that were actively trapping the cats in that area. That's why our cat numbers are up a little more in that area. For District 3, we had 15 cats and 41 dogs. For District 4, we had 13 cats, 67 dogs. District 5, 12 cats and 46 dogs. 6, we had 4 cats and 18 dogs. And District 7, we had 12 cats and 55 dogs. So these are our stray cat picks up for the year and the comparison. Same thing for the dogs. And then our reasons for owner release. Out of the 39 animals, we had 10 that were vicious and or dangerous. We had 6 that they were sick or old or injured. We had 4 that they were just unable to care for the animals. We had 5 that they were unable to keep them on the property. We had 5 that the owner of the animals either had health issues or they were elderly. One thing we seem to find in that the more elderly people, their sons or daughters will give them like a Belgian Malinois or a Husky or something that's really high energy, and they don't have the strength or the energy to deal with them. We had 7 that were lifestyle changes. We had one that they were moving and they weren't able to take the animal, and we had one that they could not afford the animal. And for the end of 2025, this is our total numbers. We had 3,705 stray calls. Stray cats picked up was 625. Stray dogs was 1,702. Our field return to owners was 278, and our total calls of service for the year was 7,849. And for that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, all right. Supervisor Jimenez, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members. For the record, my name is Gino Jimenez. I will give you the City of Las Cruces numbers for the last quarter. So I'm going to go through this very quickly because I continue to give you the month-to-month breakdown. So I'll have October, November, and December, but when we get to December, it will give you the totals for the quarter. One of the most important things that I can show here is that our peak performance goal of responding or securing 65% of all reported strays in the month of October, we were able to reach that goal of 50. And number 2 is 25% of all stray animals were returned to their owners in the field. The animal control officers were able to return 17% of those animals. So I'll go through this really quickly, give you a chance to look it over, but when we get to December, I will speak for the total amounts for the quarter. So here we go with December. For December, here is our 3-year stray animal comparison. Total for the year, we have responded to 5,180 reported stray calls. Again, animal control was able to secure 50% of all those animals. Our next slide shows our 3-year field RTO comparison. For the year, we were able to return 437 animals back to their owners. That gives us, for our peak performance goal, at 18%. Remember, our goal is 25%. We achieved 18%. Next is our peak performance for the year. This is number 3 is our measure for stray animal bite responses. So for the year of 2025, we responded to 178 reported stray bites. Compared to 2024 of 135, gave us an increase of 24%. Our next peak performance measure is 10% reduction in owner-victim bites. For the year of 2025, we responded to 116 owner-victim bites. Compared to last year, for 2024, with 115, give us that 1% increase. Again, our goal there is 10%. Here's our community cat program. For the year, we responded to 788 cats in trap calls, and of those, 150 of them were community cats. So those are 150 that never crossed the threshold of the Animal Service Center. Next is our slide for reasons that we were unable to field RTO. 27 dogs, there was no contact by phone or at the residence. 8 dogs, the chips were not registered or updated. 3 dogs, the owners were out of town. 1 dog, the mother no longer wanted to allow that dog to stay at her home. And finally, 1 cat, the owner was unable to reclaim at that time. Next is our reasons for owner releasing animals. This is a lengthy list, as usual. We had 10 dogs that were sick. There were 4 euthanasia requests. 9 dogs for aggression, 9 dogs for behavioral issues, 7 cats the owner was moving and couldn't take them with him, 6 dogs, owners could not afford them, 5 dogs the owners could not keep confined. Some of them were escape artists. 5 dogs owner was unable to care for. 3 cats the owner were unable to care for. 2 roosters, the owner released them because it violated city ordinance. 2 dogs the apartment complex would not allow. 2 dogs for bites. 1 dog killed another family pet. 1 dog not adapting to the new home. 1 cat for aggression. 1 cat for sick, it was a euthanasia request. 1 dog, the owner was evicted and didn't have anywhere to house himself, so he had to give up his animal at that time. 1 dog, the owners were getting divorced and there was a dispute over who was going to have custody of the dog. And finally, 1 dog for lifestyle changes. Here is our monthly calls for service for October. The officers responded to 1,178. In November, 1,043. In December, 1,009, bringing our grand total for the year at 13,792 calls for service. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? It's a race. Board Member Gates, please.
I'm just curious if you've noticed, or I think we might have touched on this a little bit, but any changes to anything kind of after the new ordinances have come out? Any improvements in things or degradation in things? Just kind of from that shift in some of the ordinances Las Cruces has updated.
I will say the one that has the most impact right now is the tethering. That's the one that we're getting the most impact with. The fees, the schedule of fees was approved in November. So the officers are barely getting into that groove and the citizens are getting into that requirement of the new fee schedule. We haven't had any disputes or anybody not willing to pay that new increase in the fees. So that was one of the things that we were anticipating, that we were going to have to convince people that, yes, these are higher rates. This is why. Again, those rates hadn't gone up since 2010, so it was way overdue. But right now, nothing that comes to mind that really sticks out other than the tethering.
Cool, thank you.
Board Member Harris.
So on slide 15.
15, let me go back.
Yeah, so on these 2 peak performance measures, what are the methods that we're actually using to try and hit them? Seems reducing bites is a challenge, but interested to hear what we're doing to try and reduce those.
Absolutely, and if you look at, we try to use this one as a comparison, slide 13. Yes. So the quicker we can respond to a stray animal a stray animal call, I think is a direct correlation to number 3. Because the quicker we can respond to a stray bite, we may prevent that stray bite from occurring at all. Right now, I think with like everybody else, and I know Mary Lou is included in this one, is that we have some manpower issues. I have 2 vacancies. I believe that once I'm fully staffed, that we can meet those numbers and meet that goal and reduce those number of bites. Number 4, if you look at the owner-victim bites, and I've said this before in front of council and in front of this board, animal control really doesn't have an influence on this one because you know your pets better than we do. So if they're resource guarding or food guarding, whatever, you know that better than we do. But going back to your question, number 3, I think we will be able to influence that number once I'm fully staffed.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? No? Thank you.
I have one announcement, ma'am, if I may.
Yes.
I would like to announce that Janine Torres has been promoted to Animal Control Supervisor. So she and I will both be teaming the daily supervision of animal control from this point forward. That's why I have some vacancies. So if in any of your emails, please address her as well, so that if I'm off, she can answer them, or if I'm off, I will answer them.
I know that you're just trying to like chill, like no one notices me, but I see you there.
I tried.
Supervisor Torres, thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
My name is Supervisor Janine Torres. Happy to be with you all.
And I know that you've been with animal control for a bit, yes?
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
It was 5 years last month that I was with animal control, so I'm pretty blessed to move to the next phase of my career.
Awesome, thank you. And I know I've heard you shouted out as one of the best interactions that residents have had with an animal control officer.
I am happy to hear that.
I'm glad to hear this. So thank you and welcome to
Thank you.
this. I'm sure Gina will be like, oh, sorry, I can't present. Can you do it? That's totally going to happen next time.
This may be my last one.
I would suspect. Welcome, thank you. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Ma'am, if I may, one more. I'm going to ask a favor. I typically don't do this, but I think this time it's warranted. With that cold front that's coming in, projected to come in this weekend, I'm asking the community if they have any reason not to bring in their animals over the weekend, please do so. I don't know if it's going to hit the way that it's predicted. I know for some reason I'm a little apprehensive, a little anxious about it. So I'm asking the community please bring them in this weekend.
Bring them into your garage if you can, whatever you can do. Did you want to come up? Come on up, Doc. Come up. Sorry, you should come up and speak into the microphone. Yes. Our county veterinarian. Please. But yes to this, absolutely.
So we have a program that one of the animal control officers started with New Mexico Dog that provides straw for the community members. So if there's folks, also get the word out to get straw for the cold. Yeah.
So they could.
8846 is the number for Doña County Animal
Okay.
Control. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And
you.
yes, absolutely. Even if it's your garage, something warmer than leaving them outside. I hope no one's doing that, but I know people do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Interim Director Seeley, please.
Do I need to exit this? Is this Chris?
It's Chris, I think, or, yeah, it looks like it's Chris.
Okay. Liz Seeley, Interim Director for ASCMV. So I'll be presenting the 2025 annual report. I think it's important to just see the annual numbers. We also will have our quarterly report available, and all the graphs and information in this presentation will be available in an actual report on our website in the next couple of weeks. So we'll start off with our intake stats. These are the stats for city intake, so all of these animals were brought in from within the city limits. Our highest numbers there are going to be our strays from animal control, that city animal control. And if you look, the dogs are in the blue, the cats are in the green. What's interesting about this slide is there were more cats brought in last year than dogs, which, looking back the past few years, historically it's been dogs. Same with strays from the public, so these are animals that came through our front door. There were more cats from the city than there were dogs. But if you look over at the owner surrenders to the left, 676 dogs were owner surrendered. These are the same stats for the county, and this includes all of Doña Ana County, so Anthony, Hatch, Mesilla, Salem Park, White Sands Missile Range. And here you can see the highest number by far is the dogs brought in from county animal control, as well as the owner surrendered dogs. And this slide is a combined total of the first two slides. So in total in 2025, we took in 9,664 animals. Here's a comparison throughout the years. So ASCMV was established in 2008, so we are missing 1 year on there. But if you just focus on the last 10 years from 2015 to now, you can kind of see we average around 9,000 to 10,000 every year, with the exception of COVID in 2020. We were on an emergency intake only situation, so animal control was bringing in dogs that were animals that were immediately a risk to the public or emergency situations, so we did have a lot less intake in 2020. But our numbers have been fairly the same if you exclude that year. Here's our monthly intake numbers. This graph kind of looks the same every year. We always see the highest intake in the summer months. Here's our species comparison. So in total, of the total intake, 61.4% were dogs, 37.7% were cats, and the rest made up less than 1% of the total intake. Here's another intake comparison. You can see the total of strays brought in by animal control, the next highest being strays by public, and then owner surrenders. Those are kind of where the bulk of our animals come from. So now we'll look at our outcome stats. So this is how the animals left the shelter. Total outcomes for 2025, 10,304. So this number will never be equal to the intake because you don't start the year with zero. You always have animals at the beginning of the year. And this also includes our owner-requested euthanasias. So that's a service to the public that we count as an outcome. So if you look over to the left, euthanize was our number one outcome, 2,880 animals. Next was our, actually our adoptions were 2,205, and then our transfers to rescue was at 1,959. Typically the transfers, the rescues and the adoptions numbers kind of stay similar each year. Our return to owner numbers, we were able to return 1,298 pets back to their owners. And our community cats, that's the highest number that I've seen in several years. So we did 1,118 community cats. And then again, the owner requested euthanasia, 787. That's a service to the public. Those are end-of-life services. So a lot of times we typically see injured or sick animals or older animals. There are some cases of behavior aggression in there as well. So if the animal is attacks another pet or bites the owner, a lot of times the owner elects to do a euthanasia request. So here's our euthanasia breakdowns. This chart only shows the top 18 reasons. There are about double the amount of reasons, but all of the others were either less than 20 or at 0. So if we look over at the left, the number one reason at 353 is medical respiratory signs. That's going to be non-treatment. So that's going to be animals that were not able to treat for upper respiratory signs for one reason or another. We do treat upper respiratory infections, and we are pretty successful at getting them better. If you look over to the right, all the way to the right, the 23, That's for medical respiratory signs treatment. So of all the animals that we treat for upper respiratory signs, only 23 did not overcome those and had to be euthanized. So in other words, they didn't respond to the treatment. The next highest euthanasia reason is going to be behavior, timid, fear biter. A lot of these are going to be dogs. We, as humans, can understand the scary situation that they're put in when they come into the shelter and they're in an unknown environment with unknown people. Fear biting is kind of a natural behavior for them, but it also affects their adaptability, unfortunately, and we always want to take public safety into account when we're making these decisions. So the euthanasia comparisons throughout the years, you can see the breakdown of the 2,880. 1,948 were dogs, 913 cats, and then 19 other. Our animal transfers, these are our rescues throughout the years. So in 2025, we did 1,959, and of that, 1,336 were dogs, 617 cats, and 6 others. So I just want to say thank you to all of our rescue partners who continue to help us out. The number does seem lower this year than the past few years, but 1,959 is a tremendous amount of animals, and we are appreciative to all of our rescue partners, both out of state and local. Here's our adoption comparisons throughout the years. So we did do more adoptions last year than we have in the past several years. So of that, 64% were dogs, 35% were cats, and then 1% were other. So now we'll get to our live release rate. So for those that may not know, the live release rate is how many animals left your shelter alive. In order to be considered no kill, the standard is 90%. If you look back, we have not reached 90% since 2020, and that's attributed to our low intake during that year. So we did reach no kill status in 2020 for dogs. But in 2025, our dog live release rate was 66.6%, and our cats was 74.3%. So that brings us to a total live release rate of 69.6% in 2025. I don't foresee this number changing drastically unless there's a drastic change in our intake numbers. So now we'll get into our public services and community outreach. So in 2025, the shelter saw 23,192 visitors. Our highest numbers were in July and December, and those are our 2 months that we partner with the Doña Ana County Humane Society for our biggest promotions of the year. So in July, we do our Red, White, and Cute event, and in December, we do our Home for the Holidays as well. These are our annual surgery totals, and when we say surgery, these are going to be mostly spay and neuters. Our TNR numbers, we did 1,772. Our adoptions, 1,422. Shelter fosters, those are going to be animals that are awaiting adoption at the shelter. If they get spay and neutered, we consider that an in-house surgery. So that's where that's the category they would go in. And then the other at 648, the other is going to be all of our return to owner surgeries, all of our rescue surgeries, and all of our public low-cost spay and neuters. The SNAP included is going to be in there. So in 2025, we did 3 drive-through vaccination clinics in February, June, and October. And these are really huge events. We do hundreds of vaccines. We see hundreds of animals. We've been pretty consistent throughout the year. Now we're getting to the point where we kind of recognize the dogs that are coming each year. They're coming for their annual vaccines. So in total, we did 5,703 vaccinations. Most of those were free or at low cost. And microchips, we did 907. And again, a lot of those were sponsored or at low cost. We are starting to see a lot of animals that come through already microchipped, which is a good sign. It's the reason why we do these vaccination clinics. And we will have our next clinic coming up in February on the 22nd at the Field of Dreams. So information for that is on our website and on our social media. So now we'll get into our digital content. Our meta ads there to the left, those are the ads that run on our social media pages. If you go down to the clicks to website, those will be the ads. If an ad is running on social media and you click that and it takes you to our website, that's where those are counted. If you go to the middle and look down at Facebook, total views, 7.3 million. That's not 7.3 million people, that is how many views our content got. So if a video, a post, or a picture of ours rolls across your screen, that counts as a view. Page visits, these are the amount of people visiting our Facebook page. And then content interactions, those are all the likes, shares, comments, and the same for the Instagram down below. Our website views, 418,000. These count, a view is every time you look at an animal on our website. If you're viewing one dog and you move to the next dog and then you look at a cat, that counts as 3 views. And if you look down, we registered 73,000 new users to our website. So now we'll look at our foster program. So in 2025, this graph shows how many animals were in foster each month. So a lot of the times our fosters end up adopting their foster animals, so we love to see that. But we continuously have, I would say on average, 100 animals in foster throughout the year. And these are our foster parents. So these are the amount of active foster homes that we had each month. In April and May, those numbers are a lot higher. That's what we usually call kitten season, and we see a lot of people step up to foster bottle baby kittens and puppies. So those were our two biggest months in 2025. And now we'll look at our volunteer program. So over 120 volunteers contributed to more than 10,000 hours assisting the shelter in various capacities. I'm going on almost 12 years at the shelter, and I can say that I've never seen our volunteer program so well ran. I've never seen so many volunteers there before. It's really robust. Everything, it just seems to be growing and growing. And we're so appreciative to our volunteer coordinator, Christy, all that she does, and mostly all of our volunteers that just come and spend their time with us and help our animals. We'll look at some of our volunteer numbers. So we saw our highest volunteer numbers in the fall. But if you look at February, we see we had 65 active volunteers. And here, if you look at the next slide, in February, you'll see even though it was only 65, they contributed to 1,000 hours of volunteer work at the shelter. So again, we're super thankful for all of our volunteers. This next slide shows a few pictures. We have a whole group that just does play group for our animals. They volunteer at our vaccination clinics. They volunteer on-site and off-site at our adoption events. They do dog walking, animal socializing. They help take pictures, networking, just so many volunteer opportunities at the shelter. So we really appreciate all of the work that they put in. And this is one of our adoptable dogs, Lemon Meringue. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Liz. Board Member Harris?
Thank you. So on slide 22, I think, you were talking about the ads and the ad spend. I guess Are we seeing real good ROI on the Meta ad spend? I know that can be pretty difficult to track versus like regular organic engagement, but
I would say it's been up. We have hired in the last year digital content specialists. So prior to that, we didn't have a whole lot of data. But now I think now that we can track that a little bit more, it's something that we'll be looking into and seeing what we're doing that's working or what we need to change, what we need to focus on more. But I would say since the hiring of that position, our social media has increased.
okay. And well, I guess it'll be interesting to see, I guess, next time how we can correlate that to actual like adoptions and lesson intake. So
I will say that on our Facebook page, we have 4 Facebook pages. So we have our main social media for the shelter. We also have a networking page for rescues, a volunteer page, and a foster page. Our networking page has become really popular, especially with our volunteers. That's where we post a lot of our at-risk animals. So those are probably the ones that you guys have seen the most of. So, yeah.
sounds good. Thanks.
Any other board member Ward, please?
Thank you. Thanks, Liz, for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. On the shelter, the numbers on the stats, like the numbers of animals in the shelter, does that include numbers at the court hold facility, or does that not include them?
No, it does not include the court hold facility.
Okay. And then also, in regards to your vaccine clinics, I know when you guys report that, it's usually out at the Field of Dreams. Is it ever out in any of the unincorporated areas of the county, or is it always in the incorporated areas of the city?
When we first started, we used to do it at NMSU, and we moved to the Field of Dreams, mostly because of traffic control. The amount of animals that come in and the amount of people, you really need a large space to control all the traffic. Sometimes the wait to get your pet vaccinated is 1 to 2 hours. So if we can find a space out in the county that'll work for our setup, we can look into going out there. Right now, the Field of Dreams kind of works best to get it. In order for us to do the amount of vaccines that we do, we need that kind of setup.
Okay, thank you.
And I mean, that's like, you use both parking lots. That's like 2 Walmart,
Yes.
approximately 2 Walmart parking lots
Yeah,
size.
if
So
you've
that's-
ever been out there, you know that it's a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I think logistically it's a huge, heavy lift, so.
Yeah.
I know. I think it would be great too if we could do it in the unincorporated county areas. No place comes to, even, I think about DACC, which has a number of spots, but our parking lots are probably a third of the size of that area, so. Yeah.
If you could just get with me, and we could probably come up with some areas within the county on the unincorporated areas that has pretty good large areas that we could probably set up. We'd be happy to partner with you on that.
Yeah, definitely, we can look into that. We had considered Vado Speedway Park at one point. I mean, a lot of the times, people will be willing to drive from Mesquite and Vado if it's closer. Another consideration we tried was the fairgrounds, but that's kind of far out from everybody. So we're definitely open to options.
So what is your average vaccines at each clinic that you guys do?
You can see the numbers here. So I don't know if I don't know how to make this bigger on the same slide. But yeah, so if you look at February, these are all the vaccines for that clinic. Usually the numbers for the rabies are a lot higher. The distemper parvo and the feline distemper, those are the free vaccines that we offer at most of our clinics. And those are yearly vaccines as well. So I would say 700 on average, probably a good number.
Thank you.
Board Member Gates.
I'm just wondering, with the return to owner totals, how many of, like, obviously I don't need the actual numbers, but what is kind of the percentage breakdown of like, 20% were ones that were brought in via animal control, whether it be county or city, versus return to owners from like a public member that had brought in an animal?
Okay, so you're looking at, so the return to owners total, you would like to see a breakdown of county versus city?
Or just like an estimate, like just essentially like, so when, basically whether the return to owner is an animal that had been brought in by animal control or an animal that had been brought in by a member of the public.
Okay. I don't have that breakdown, but we can probably run reports and get it. I will just say of the return to owners, the majority are not going to be from the county. And a lot of people, especially in like Mesquite, Vado, Chaparral, they don't really know that their animals are brought to us. And we have actually talked about that in our last meeting. We're trying to put out more information so people in these areas, if they're missing a pet, they know to come to Las Cruces to look for it. Some people just aren't aware that their animals are brought all the way over here, so they don't ever come looking. And one of the ideas that we have is to include some inserts in their water bills so that they're already getting these water bills. They can look and see, hey, if my pet's missing, this is where it can go, because that kind of reaches everybody, even if you don't have social media. But yeah, I would say I can get you the breakdown of that, but the majority are going to be reclaimed from the city.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Chair.
Please.
And I just want to kind of, I think, as Mary Lou was suggesting, I think, is given the size of the event here at the Field of Dreams, potentially if we could find a way to, look at some of the other areas of the county, I don't think we necessarily have, if we can do something like that or even provide some support for that, it doesn't even have to be the full size that we do here at the Field of Dreams, just, but, I think some of the places that come to mind, like in my district, the Hatch High School, because it has multiple entrances and exits, if we were to partner with the school district, that might be a good spot. Gadsden High School, maybe thinking further in the future. I know this is several years, but I know as we're working right now as a county with the passage of the GO bonds, we're looking to possibly potentially build a large or a rec center facility that'll have significant amount of parking area right along 404 and Stern Drive, just right there in Anthony. And so, like I said, I think there's some potential here, but like I said, maybe we can come up with the project with working with Mary Lou, working with Dr. McKenzie, and kind of figure it out. But I would love, like I said, I think I would love it because I think that is one of the feedback I get is some of the folks in my district having to drive 40 miles to get from Hatch, Salem area to here. They would love to take advantage of it, but so I'd love for us to see how we could maybe partner together. So I appreciate you being open to suggesting it. Thank you so much, Liz.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next on our reports and presentations are committee reports. We have a finance report. Josh, if you're up for coming up. Thank you so much, Liz.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Josh Saflin. On behalf of the Finance Department of the City of Las Cruces, I would like to present the unaudited financials as of December 31st, 2025. If we look at our first slide here, we see our statement of net positions. This is going to be for all funds combined. So our cash and investments is $1,929,184. We have capital assets of $283,148. So this gives us in all funds a total assets of $2,212,332. When we take away our total liabilities of $418,627, that leaves us a total fund balance of $1,793,705. We now see our statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balance, budget to actual. This is just for the general fund. So here we see the actual revenue for the period was $2,936,592, which was at 56.6% of budget. We do follow a fiscal year of July through June. So this is 50% of the year, so our budget parameter would be 50%. So that is slightly above, which is good. Our total expenditures for the period were $2,192,505, which is 39.2%, which is significantly lower than the 50% budget parameter. We see when we take our expenses away from our revenues, we had a total change in net position of $744,087. When added to our fund balance at the start of the year, we had an ending fund balance in the general fund of $1,482,545. Now we're going to see the breakdown of expenditures for each of the 4 main programs. Starting with the executive director, we see for the period total expenditures of $79,662. This is at 39.2% of the budget. For the medical director program, we're seeing total actual expenditures of $540,806, which is at 34.8% of the budget. For kennel director, it's $853,466, which is at 40.6% of budget. Again, we're seeing that all of these are coming in under that 50% budget parameter. And finally, as the administrative operations, that's their actuals were $718,650, and that was at 41.5% of the budget. Finally, we look at the grant and donation schedule as of December 31st, 2025. We're showing about 5 grants outstanding that the Animal Services Center is still working on. Of those, 1 is almost completely spent, another is being well spent, and there are 3 others that are in the process of making sure that they're getting spent, preparing different POs and other things in order to spend out those funds. And that is my entire presentation, but I will stand for any questions.
Board Member Peck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Josh, just so the rest of the board knows, we're fully staffed now as far as the financial positions of the service center?
As far as I know, yes, but if
Liz, we had that discussion last week. Almost fully, okay. But the management analysts, all that's been, so then again, moving forward, the bills are getting paid on time, we're getting caught back up, and some of these lower amounts will be adjusted in, what did we talk about last week? Couple, maybe by February, March, we're starting to see the financial numbers normalizing? Okay. Madam Chair, I just wanted to point that out to the rest of the board, that because of some of the issues with their staffing and some of the turnover we saw late in 25, is why it's reflecting in their financials, but will normalize soon.
Thank you for pointing that out. Any other questions on the finance report? Seeing and hearing none, thank you, Josh. Next up, I don't know, I'm going to talk to you in Santa Fe. Chris, are you there? No, I don't. No. Right. If you're up for an executive report.
I think I'm muted. Sorry, I think it was muted. Okay.
Thank you, Adrian, Ouija board worker, miracle worker. Chris, are you there?
Yes, I'm back. Thank
Okay.
you.
Are you up for giving an executive report, please?
Of course, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Perfect. Yeah, no, so we definitely have been working hard with Liz and team on getting the new executive director up and going. I know that that's been one of the bigger projects that we've all been working on. So really that's all we're doing and trying to finalize that. But I just want to say a big thank you to Liz and her team for working with us as much as possible to get all the relevant information out and just really just being awesome team members. And I know it's been a long haul, but that's really all we've been up to the last couple months since we've just been trying to fill the shoes and, you know, plug the holes lately. So thank you.
Thank you, and more on that shortly. So, facilities, Board Member Ward.
Thank you. And first, I want to apologize. I did miss a couple of the meetings, but I did get the notes from the meetings from Liz. So thank you, Liz, for providing the notes to me. So I will report on the notes that were given on the facilities meetings. So there were some pending work orders that were reviewed from outstanding from the facility related, and facilities is continuing to work on those access and to schedule some items that were several work orders to remain those in progress. The adoption building, there's a lock replacement system, so the facilities is still working on plans to replace the existing locks in the adoption building. There was discussion in regards to completing the lock replacement in phases to expedite the start of the work. And then there's a maintenance supervisor update. So updates on the maintenance supervisor they remain out on medical leave, which continues to impact the internal maintenance capacity in the turnaround times. The medical kennel renovation grant was discussed, and the project was funded through recent grants. The project planning and management will likely wait until the next new executive director is hired, and funding options, including potential use of the fund balance, will need further review. It's anticipated that the project planning will begin once the new director is on board. And then the next meeting was scheduled, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone? No. The grant, I think we do have ongoing conversations about the grant to update the medical kennels, but also to update the building's medical capacity overall. And I do look forward to the new executive director coming on board and for us to think about those capital improvements separate from a lot of the operational improvements that will be, or operational funding that we are often talking about here. So I think I'm hopeful that in the next year or so we'll have a capital improvement strategy and approach that we can help keep building up, from this beyond an increasing capacity. So thank you for representing on the facilities committee. And also I think we'll be looking for new board members, which is our next discussion item, seeing no more questions from the board. The process for selecting a new board member. Board member Campbell resigned a few weeks ago. And also you may have noticed that I am the lesser Becky, that Becky Graham is no longer on city council, and we are joined by new Councilor Harris, representing District 3 and representing the city on the ASCMV board. So this discussion item is directly related to filling that spot on the board. We will be looking for a new public board member, so we've gone through this process before. We'll do it again. To do this process, we ask folks to submit their information to the boards and committees website on the city's boards and committees website, and I will follow up with Liz and moreover our city clerk who helps us run that system, which is where we collect the information for anyone who's interested, and then we take those interested parties and decide from there where on the next public board member. So anyone in the I think this is a city position. We have these loosely designated, so someone who lives within the city limits, not in the county limits, as both of those, is that correct? Not correct. Is that correct? Both of those spots are full. So someone in the city limits, and we'll post the job description for a board member shortly. So be on the lookout for that if you are interested in getting engaged. You can also, don't forget the SNAP board, so a number of places where you can get engaged if you are interested. So any questions for anyone related to that? Hearing none, the next action item is selection of ASCMV board chair and vice chair and committee assignments. This happens every year. As you can see, we have turnover on the board, who's there and who's not. We also try to, even though I don't think we're required to, rotate this between county and city representatives, just so that there is never a kind of hegemonic agenda, although that I have not experienced one or the other trying to boss the other in my time on this board, but I think that idea is still a good one to keep perpetuating. And so for that reason, the city was chair last year. I think we'll start with the ASCMV board chair and then go on to vice chair if I have the consent of my colleagues. And given that and the history of rotation, I nominate Manny Sanchez as board chair. Do you accept the nomination?
I do. Thank you.
Any other inputs from the board?
Are we allowed to nominate anybody who's not in the room with us?
I mean, yes. I don't know how quickly they can get on the Zoom to accept or reject the nomination. If you want to nominate someone else, that's also welcome.
I was just expecting some comment from Santa Fe there, but obviously I guess he's.
I'm staying quiet, Commissioner. I'm staying quiet.
Okay.
Good try, though. I don't think I can poll the board to see, but if there are no other nominations, I think it goes to now Chair Sanchez. Do you want to continue on with the rest of the meeting, or do you want me to continue?
No, I completely up to you. I don't mind, and I think just for the record, I guess by affirmation, do we want to, I guess, approve of myself as chair? I should ask just so for the record.
I think we could do at the end of this a slate if there aren't multiple nominations, perhaps.
That's fine. Yeah.
Does that work?
That works.
Okay.
So do you want me to take over, or?
What would you like?
I'll take over. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. God. With that, we'll open up the floor now for vice chair of the ASCMV board. I know, as we said, we alternate, and so with that, the vice chair would be back with the city of Las Cruces. So with that, I'll open up the floor for nominations.
I nominate Board Member Gates.
Board Member Gates, do you accept?
I accept.
All right. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? All right, then we will close the floor for nominations for vice chair. With that, since there are only one nomination for chair and vice chair, so chair, myself, Commissioner Sanchez, and vice chair, Board Member Gates, I will then just, if there are no objections, I'll ask for all those in support, say aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
And with that, then we'll call by unanimous consent there, we now have officially chair and vice chair for the board. So thank you, Board Member Gates, for joining this with me. So.
Thank you. I'm very excited to work with you.
Thank you. And thank you to the board members. And thank you to my compadre in Santa Fe for his support.
The committee assignments, I don't know if you want to talk more about that. I think we're missing someone on facilities. The executive committee is proscribed by by who's in the vice chair position typically, and then chair and vice chair, and then finance. I don't know if the finance committee I think the finance committee is fully staffed, so it's just the facilities committee, I think, that we're missing someone on.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody, then if that's the case, I don't know if anybody would like to be part of the facilities committee that is not or currently part of it. Commissioner Sheldro Hernandez, I know you were on the executive as being vice chair. Any chance you'd be open to doing the facilities committee instead of in place of the executive?
100%. Yes, I'll be on facilities.
Okay, and I see Mary Lou as well is open. Is that, I think if we're good with that, are there any, who else is on the, do we need, I think with the two,
I mean, I'm on it.
okay. Did you want to stay on it, board member, or vice chair?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Then I think if there's no issues with having those appointments, we'll plan on having Commissioner Saldra Hernandez, Vice Chair Gates, and then as ex officio, Member Ward, we'll have those as part of the Facilities Committee as well. And then the Executive Committee will be made by myself as Chair, Vice Chair Gates. I believe also, unfortunately, it was usually the outgoing chair, so I don't know how or if we want to have someone else from the city as a part of that as the Executive Committee, or if we're just okay with myself and the Vice Chair as being part of that. Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Sorry, Board Member Peck?
Mr. Chairman, in order to avoid a conflict or a deadlock, don't you normally need 3?
Yes, but I don't know that we've generally made decisions in the Executive Committee. I think we usually defer to the larger board with those, but like I said, I'm open either way. I think, like I said in the past, we've generally not made those determinations in the committee.
Well, I would leave the question open until we have a chance to look at the JPA, but I'm fine with the way
Okay.
because it's structured in the JPA.
Okay. And then, just for the record now, who is on the Finance Committee, just so we could, okay, Board Member Peck, okay, we have Councilor Horn, and also Commissioner Saldra Hernandez as okay. Okay, with that, so just so that way I've got, just for the record, I'll need a motion and a second to approve, but on the Executive Committee, it'll be, for now, myself, Chair Sanchez, Vice Chair Gates. On the Facilities, we will have Commissioner Saldra Hernandez, ex-official member Ward, as well as Vice Chair Gates. And then on the Finance Committee, it will be also Commissioner Saldra Hernandez, Councilor Corrin, and Board Member Peck. Okay. All right. If I can get a motion and a second to approve those appointments, or if there's any changes to that.
I was just going to suggest, and I think this is really just additional meetings that we are required to attend. So in respect for that, but also in thinking about integrating Board Member Harris, I was going to suggest that perhaps instead of serving on Facilities, Chair Harris takes your spot. Would that be okay with you?
Yes.
Would that be okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not to be, again, I'm not trying to stack any decks. I'm just trying to make sure that people don't have 20 meetings per month as a result of their commitments, and that Board Member Harris gets to be on a
Thank you.
committee.
Okay.
The special fun of being on a committee. You're in?
Yep.
Okay, so.
That will
got
be for Facilities?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so in lieu of Vice Chair Gates, it'll be Board Member, or Councilor Harris will be taking her place. Okay. So if I can get a motion and a second to approve those committee assignments.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
I have a motion by Councilor Corrin, a second by, I believe, Board Member Peck. Okay. All right, if there are no other comments or questions, we'll do a roll call vote. Ex officio Member Ward,
Yes.
Board Member Peck,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gates,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Corrin.
Yes.
Chair Sanchez vote yes, and with that, those committee assignments are approved. Thank you all. All right, and then we're on to Resolution 2601, which is item 7.2 on our agenda. This is a resolution approving an employment agreement hiring Stephanie Lewis as Executive Director of the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. If I can get a motion and a second to begin discussion, please.
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Councilor Corrin.
Second.
Second by Councilor Harris. All right. And so I hope the board members have had a chance to review the the resolution. I don't know if there are any questions, changes, comments to the resolution. Councilor Corn?
First of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to the folks who worked on the smaller committee to have the search process, and to the search firm who I believe did a really good job of integrating a number of complicated variables, one of which is the fact that we have to go through a lot of public meetings to come to this conclusion, but I know it represents a lot of work for a lot of people, and we are very lucky to have the opportunity to extend this contract. I'm sure Liz is very happy. We catfished her into what was supposed to be a 4-month job. It ended up being a year, more than a year, and so I'm sure I also will thank her later, but I did want to make, so thank you to everyone who worked on this, but I did want to make one follow-up amendment to page 14 of 17, if you're looking at it directly in the packet, under salary, the moving expenses caveat. We learned, Board Member Shaja Hernandez brought this up in the conversations that we were having with the legal team and then the search firm, that the one-time stipend for moving expenses is taxed at the same rate as regular salary. And so I'm mentioning this because the candidate in setting up that has asked for that to be changed to a stipend of $6,000. And so I would propose an amendment under number 5B, that 5 be changed to a 6. So I am making that formal amendment.
Okay, so I'll take that as
Proposing that
there's a
amendment.
motion to amend the moving expenses under section 5B from 5,000 to 6,000. Is there a second to that?
Second.
All right, I have a second by Councilor Harris. Any comments, input from the board or the public? All right, and with that, then we will do a roll call on the proposed amendment to the moving expenses. Ex officio member Ward.
Yes.
All right, Board Member Peck.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gates.
Yes.
Councilor Harris.
Yes.
Councilor Corn.
Yes.
I, Chair Sanchez, vote yes. And so with that, the amendment is approved. The moving expenses are now shown to reflect $6,000. So now we're back to the resolution as amended. Are there any other comments, changes, questions? Public input? Okay. All right, with that, then I'll do a roll call vote on Resolution 26-01 as amended. Ex officio member Ward.
Yes.
Board member Peck.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gates.
Yes.
Councilor Harris.
Yes.
Councilor Corn.
Yes.
I, Chair Sanchez, vote yes. And with that, the resolution is approved. And again, as Councilor, as you mentioned, I appreciate the staff and all of the work that was put into the process. Liz, thank you again so much for stepping in. I can't see you over the monitor, but thank you so much for stepping in and helping us and lead the center during the time of transition. I know there'll be a little bit more, but glad that we had a really good interview process. And I know we talked about that during the selection of Ms. Lewis, so I'm looking forward to welcoming her to Las Cruces and Doña Ana County and looking forward to working with her. So thank you all so much.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Board Member Peck.
For the record, Liz, thank you very much for all your hard work in the last year. I know it's been really tough, and you've done a fantastic job. Mr. Chairman, I would also like the board to consider direction to the new director to keep Liz as an interim resource for at least 6 months. That helps. I would, you can go back to your regular job, but, I think that during the transition, I would like to recognize the hard work that she did and her knowledge, and that she maintained as an interim deputy director to help the new person come through.
Yeah, I think that we can.
That makes sense?
No, it absolutely does, and I think it for continuity, as well as the knowledge that Liz has from working her years at the ASCMV and the lessons learned over the last year. I think it makes perfect sense. So I think maybe that's something we can have that discussion with as we come in, but I absolutely agree. I think having, for purposes of continuity, I think it makes perfect sense. But also, I understand Liz is ready to get back to her job, and I think she plays an important role with working with our community partners, and so we'll have to work on figuring that out, but I believe it's a great idea. Thank you, Board Member Peck.
Mr. Chairman, I also, you can see the numbers in the rescues and where those things have gone down, and I think that's where Liz fits right back in, but during that 6 months, then again, I think her pay should be maintained to where it's at for, during this transition period as well.
Yeah, I'm sure we can probably, like I said, we can probably figure that out as a board, and I'll probably have to lean a little bit on Josh as we, and the Finance Committee as well, as we, if we were to explore that, what could potentially be impact to the budget if there is, or if there's any concern with vacancies and that comes in, we can figure that out, I think, as a board. But like I said, I do completely agree. I think it's, rather than throwing Ms. Lewis to, learn to throw her in the deep end. Obviously, I know she has plenty of experience, but I think having that perspective will be helpful. So thank you, Board Member Peck. All right, we're on to agenda item number 8, which is public input. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide public input at this time? All right. Oh, please, come on up. And if you can, please state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Dina Dargo. Some of you know me from Animal Protection Voters, and I will be lobbying on February 10th at the Capitol regarding SB 30 as well as the other 3 legislative priorities. I just wanted to mention that as we did last year, we're asking community members to please write letters in support of these bills. They can email them directly to Animal Protection Voters, and it's imperative that they put their residence address because we hand deliver those letters to their legislators. So whatever you want to do to rally the community, we really, really appreciate that. It was very impactful last year.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Any other public input at this time? All right. We'll move on to chair and board comments. Board. We'll go ex officio member Ward, and then Councilor Corn.
Thank you. I just have an announcement, and it kind of goes with what we were discussing earlier with the free straw. Doña Ana County has been giving out free straw with the New Mexico Dog Program. They've been partnering with us. We've been doing it for some time now, so our office does provide free straw to any resident, so you don't just have to be a resident within the unincorporated areas. We don't ask any questions. And it doesn't matter if it's a dog or a cat or what animal you have that's outside that you need to help provide warmth to that animal in the winter months. Just come by the office, let us know that you need free straw. We'll be happy to provide it for you. Our office is located at 2024 East Griggs. If you can come by between the hours of 8 and 12, and then again from 1 to 4:30 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday, and we'll be happy to provide that for you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilor Corn.
Thank you. I just wanted to give a really public shout out to both Liz, who I will continue to express my gratitude for throughout this time. Again, it's been very powerful. There are a lot of things coming at you in this role that I know Stephanie is up for and thinking about too, but you really worked hard to keep things moving and keep us all together. I also want to give a shout out to Michelle, who for a long time has been until recently filling in and doing a lot of the work related to the documentation that we have, that we expect, and a lot of the public documentation, and doing a number of things that also fall into other duties as assigned, I think. So thank you, Michelle, for doing that. Also, I just want to give a secret shout out to Michelle, who accounts for my single happiest day ever in public office when she showed me a tiny baby goat that was the best day of my job, the only time I've ever experienced some extraordinary benefit from this job. It was from you, Michelle. So I will never forget that happiest day of my public office career. But thank you. I know it's unseen, but I see you, and we appreciate both of you very much. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Harris, oh, sorry, sorry, I saw the red light, and I apologize. I'll go Vice Chair Gates and then here to Councilor Harris.
I just want to echo the same. I mean, Liz, you stepped into this role, and I mean, to go from being really awesome doing your rescue work, transports, and getting all of the animals out of the shelter, and having to kind of give up something that you're so incredibly passionate about for a year and some change. I mean, obviously we're like home stretch right now for you, and you know, like it's not going to be like overnight. Obviously, you're going to have some transitional things happening, but it's incredible that you were able to step into this role and just do amazing work despite, you know, being, you know, probably very overwhelmed with everything that was happening. And, you know, that role is not an easy role, and you were able to just keep everything smooth. And, you know, it's just so incredible to see someone able to step in like that. And I am so excited for the future of the Animal Services Center. You know, even without you at the helm, it's just going to be so impactful to see the changes and to see you getting back into your role and the changes that it brings. And I mean, same goes for Michelle and the work that you do there. And I'm just like, I'm so excited moving forward, and you both have had such a big impact on keeping things running organizationally. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gates. Councilor Harris.
Thanks. So I'm excited to be a new part of this board, and I'm excited for the future of ASCMV. I think I was very encouraged by all the reports and presentations we saw today. So that's cool. I think we have a good future. And I also just wanted to give a special shout out to the TNR program. I've put a couple community cats through it myself in the past, and I think we're doing some great work on the preventative side of things, which hopefully will increase the positive outcomes that we see. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor, and welcome to the ASCMV board. We're excited to have you on. I'd like to also extend an invitation. If you ever have questions on the county, obviously you can reach out to myself or Commissioner Sheldra Hernandez, but especially Mary Lou can share a lot of the initiatives that we've been working on at the county level, and so that way kind of how we might be able to continue to dovetail with the efforts of the city. Please feel free to reach out anytime. We'd love to kind of figure out and even have a new set of eyes of even trying to have some new suggestions. So thank you, sir. All right. Any other questions, comments from the board? All right. And with that, then we'll move on to the last item of our business, which is adjournment. And if I get a motion and a second to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second for adjournment. We will call this meeting adjourned at 10:48 a.m. Thank you all so much. We will see you all in a couple of months, and thank you all for this meeting. Thank you.